ready by Saturday.
Seems like you guys have tried to stretch the field a little bit more the last couple weeks as well. Like, where do you feel like that fits into the offense, and how do you feel kind of, or what precipitated that change?
I think it's some things we saw on film from the Giants defense that we felt like we could hit some shots downfield, and Jahan made a great play this past Sunday night, and we missed on a couple other ones. We had that flea flicker and another one that we missed. But the more we can do that and connect on those things, it just opens up the offense that much more, so we don't have to have those 15 play drives. But again, the story of it is, when we get in the red zone, we gotta score touchdowns. So that's the biggest thing we got to work on.
Probably a dumb question, but when you have a number of players that have multiple skill sets, what does that do for you as a quarterback? Is there ever a challenge in making sure you can use them as much as you can?
Yeah. When you have a bunch of guys that can do a bunch of different things, it just helps the quarterback that much more. You kind of see it in San Fran's offense. You got a bunch of gadget players, whether it's Debo or McCaffrey or those guys. It just opens up that offense so much more, and it makes it hard on the defense. So, the more we can do with more of our guys, it helps us tremendously. So, I think Curtis is one of those guys for us.
Have you seen Brian Robinson just get more and more comfortable with his role? And have moments stood out to you along the way?
Yeah. Obviously the whole deal that happened to him during training camp kind of put him, back a couple steps. And I think his first couple games back, he was still trying to feel out his knee at the time. But you see him very comfortable with the offense, and he's run really hard. So, I've said this before, but it's really fun giving him the ball, and you kind of turn around and you see him carrying 5 guys down the field. It gets all the players going, and you saw it Sunday night. The fans were super juiced too. So he brings a good little spark to our offense.
Sunday was your most prolific rushing day of the season. Did you see that impact the game at all, or did it add anything for you specifically?
Yeah, I think the more I can use my legs, when I need to, and it be a positive, it just helps us out. Again, it's just another thing that the defense has to worry about. I was really hoping I could get to that pylon there. Thibodeau did a good job of closing that out. But yeah, the more I can use my legs and when it's needed, it'll help out the offense a lot.
And Ron told us yesterday, with Carson back, he's maybe thinking about a change. Like, do you view this game as a really important one, obviously for the playoff chase, but for you and your grip on the job, knowing that Carson's healthy and, like you said a few months ago, he's paid $28 million, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, for me, I just try and focus on, if I'm starting, okay, I'm gonna focus on the game and trying to go get a win. If they want to go with Carson, great. I'll be the best backup to him I can be. That's the most I can do. I've said it before. I just try to control what I can control, and that's coming here every day, working hard, preparing like I'm going to start, and if my numbers call, go out there and give it my best.
Did your conversation with Ron kind of help ease that at all after Sunday's game, or he said that as long as the messaging is consistent, that you guys are kind of on the same page?
Yeah, as long as there's clear communication, there shouldn't be any hiccups there, and I think Coach Rivera does a great job with that. So we'll see what happens.
Going back to the Caps game, what did you make of your teammates' performance besides you with all the specifically Nolan Laufenberg?
Yeah, so. Tress told me he was going to do something, and I guess after they won the Stanley Cup, Oshie chugged a beer over his jersey, and you see Tress doing that, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I think we had this plan for a while, and unfortunately we lost on Sunday, but it was good to kind of get out, kind of forget about the game, have some fun, get that bad taste out of our mouth. So when we came in today, we were ready for San Fran. A lot of people want to sit at home and kind of just keep thinking about the game. I think it was important for us to get out and have a good time together, develop those relationships, and get that bad taste out of our mouth. They did not.
You pass it across.
Fumble.
Not a running back. Got me now. The Niners' defensive front, they're very good. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves. What do you focus on when you look at that? What can you do to mitigate their impact a little bit?
More of the same I did this past week, just focus on my footwork, try and put those offensive linemen in the best position they can be in. And, we have full confidence in those guys. They did a great job against Philly when we played them. They have a good front. So it's a challenge for those guys, but, they're looking forward to it.
How has that been? You've been through so many centers this year. How has that process been for you? breaking in the new ones, watching them go around? And I know obviously you've got confidence in each of them.
Yeah, it was the same thing last year. Late in the year we had Keith Ishmael, who's actually on the Niners. It would be good to see him, but we went through 4 centers last year as well. So, Coach Maska does a great job of getting all those guys prepared just in case they, their numbers called, and they've come in and done a great job.
Embracing that underdog role. I kind of go back to that Philly game, and you look at San Francisco from a national perspective. A lot of people feel like the 49ers are one of the better teams in the NFC, as being the underdog, probably going out west. How do you guys embrace that, and is it kind of eerily similar to the Philly situation a few weeks back?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same feeling. Great offense, great defense. We have to play a really clean game. We're going to a dogfight, and this time there's just playoff implications are a little bit higher later in the season. But the guys know the task at hand, and they're prepared for it.
Is there comfort in the fact knowing that you guys still control your own destiny? You went out, you're going to the playoffs, so obviously take it one step at a time. But knowing you still, even with that loss to the Giants, you still control your own destiny.
Yeah, that's what you want at this point of the year. Obviously, that Sunday night loss was big, and we're upset about it. But at the same time, if someone told us at the beginning of the year, "Hey, you got 3 games left and you're controlling your own destiny," we would take it all day. So, obviously, it would have been nice to get that win. But like you said, we control our own destiny, so that's all we can ask for.
You guys obviously have a lot of playmakers on offense with Brian's power running plus the receivers, and you can use all that. But what do you see as like the team's offensive identity now that you're this deep into the season?
Yeah, we were on that winning streak there. We were running the ball well, lots of play action. We're hitting lots of third down conversions that we needed to, and we were scoring in the red zone. And the defense kept doing their thing. So if we can keep doing that, feel very comfortable with this offense. And I've said this before too. It's when we have those offensive penalties that put us behind the chains, it's tough for us as an offense to overcome that. So if we can eliminate those, and then once we get down in the red zone, score touchdowns, I feel very comfortable with this team.
Obviously, we've had a lot of fun over the last few weeks about you're buying shoes. I presume you saw the Giants tweet. Do you take that as a badge of honor that they decided to even bother with that?
Yeah, obviously they were watching, and listening and stuff. I'll say that the Jays they picked were hideous. But I understand what they were doing, Commander's colors. I get it, and they're poking a little at us, but it is what it is. That's part of being rivals, and hopefully we'll get them back maybe in the playoffs this year or next year.
When you look at the 49ers, do you, root for a guy like Brock Purdy because you're similar backgrounds and all that? Do you feel like connection, or do you root more for guys like that because that underdog tale that you can relate to?
100%. Obviously not this game, but when I watch him, I'm rooting for him. The guy was Mr. Irrelevant. He's a shorter quarterback. A lot of guys didn't give him the chance. Give him being drafted the last pick of the draft. So I kind of feel that similarity towards him. But he's doing a great job, man. You watch the film. He knows what he's doing. He throws a nice tight spiral. He's moving that offense well. So our defense got a tough task on their hands, but hopefully he can take a week off and not play as well.
And when you're with the running and all that, when you guys running some of those zone reads, what's the process like for you to decide to keep it? I know you're reading the end and all that, but how do you feel about that? Is it tough to get used to if you're not doing it a lot, and just the whole decision process?
Well, I feel comfortable with my legs. I feel like I can make some things happen. But obviously I'm a smaller guy, so when it's time to get hit, I'm trying to get down. So you're not going to see the quarterback powers like Cam used to run, stuff like that. But there are some plays that we have in our offense that allows me to read somebody and get some stuff in my legs. And yeah, I feel comfortable with that at all times. It's not like I haven't ran in a year, so I feel comfortable with it.
Do you kind of say to yourself sometimes you have to keep it just to keep it honest, or is it do you ever?
No, again, when you start thinking like that, you might pull it when you don't need to, and you're taking a 2-yard loss when and you're taking an unnecessary hit when maybe B-Rob or AG can pop a big one. So again, there's a fine line there. You got to make the right decision, and when you do, try and get down before getting hit.
When you're throwing in the low red zone, what's the balance between I don't want to turn the ball over here, but also I want to break
There's a very fine line there as well. Obviously you got points on the board, so you don't want to take those off. But again, touchdowns a lot better than 3 points. So, it was unfortunate at the end of the game there where I believe we had 0 timeouts left, and we got that penalty from the touchdown to put us back. And it's easy for a defense at that point they play cover 2, and you're playing cover 2 that deep in the red zone. It's tough to find holes, and some of the plays that we had called there at the end, they're tough plays to beat cover 2 with. So that last play I was just trying to make something happen. No one really open, but like you said, there's opportunities where you can kind of just rip it and trust it, but at the same time you don't want to turn the ball over and take points off the board. So again, something that we're working on. Thanks guys. Thank you.